What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man, Stokesy Camel, back at it with another video, and today we're doing another toxic tier list ranking. Ooh, yeah. And today we are going to be doing a tier list ranking of a whole bunch of different comic book movies, not just Marvel and DC, but most of them probably haven't seen. But before we get to actual beginning of the video, what's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Just 167 away now, and also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm recommended more people. Maybe they could join that toxic fam. And do feel free to comment your list down below. But with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. And before we start ranking things, here are the tiers. So we have best of the best, which means they're like perfect movies, almost 5 stars. Maybe they'll be in my favorite movies of all time. I don't know, but they're perfect. Great means they're close to perfect, but there's a minor flaw holding it back, or just a flaw. Toxic goodness means it was good. It was a solid superhero movie. Decent means it was decent, but it kind of feels generic. Okay means mixed bag. There were some moments I liked, and then there were some moments I didn't like at all. Meh means they're just meh. They're just there. Haven't seen means I haven't seen it, and then toxic trash means dumpster fire, the worst superhero movies of all time. Alright, so first up we have The Adventures of Tintin, which I had no idea that this was a comic book movie until seeing this tier list, but haven't seen it. And I haven't heard much buzz about that. Anyways, alright, now to movie that I actually know, The Amazing Spider-Man, and ooh, this one's tough. Okay, so first Amazing Spider-Man, I think, is a little underrated. I think it's really underrated. And I'm going to put it into the toxic goodness. I think it's a good superhero movie for Andrew Garfield. I really enjoy the backstory aspects in here, even though the sequel kind of went a little too far into that. I liked the backstory they gave Peter, where it's a little bit different compared to Tobey's story. The main score in here is phenomenal. I love that throughout the movie. It's awesome. The web swinging sequences are really good. The final fight between Lizard and Spider-Man's really good too. And also Lizard, I think, is a pretty decent villain in here, with him kind of connecting with Peter. So yeah, I think it's a toxic goodness movie. I think it's a good Spider-Man movie. If we're talking about negatives, maybe Lizard is probably the weakest out of the Spider-Man villains, but he's still pretty decent though. And also, if I had to think of anything else, what would it be? Maybe just because I've been burnt out on it. I've watched it quite a few times, but I love it still, so. But again, some flaws there, so, but it's still good. Next up, we got the sequel, Amazing Spider-Man 2. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2, most people hate, but now people are starting to come around to it. I've come around to it too. Don't get me wrong, is it a jumbled mess? Yes. But it is still a good Spider-Man movie. Probably the best web-swinging sequences out of all the Tobey, Andrew, and Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Probably the best. This might be a hot take, but I actually like, even though, yes, it is kind of a repetitive, a repetitive kind of sort of thing they do with this character. I do like Jamie Foxx in here as Electro. I've always have. I thought he brought an interesting element to the character, even though he has the same villain arc that most villain arcs have nowadays in comic book movies. But I really enjoyed him as Electro. Dane DeHaan does okay as Green Goblin, but as Harry Osborn. He does good as Harry Osborn. It's just, when he eventually comes in a little bit later on in the movie, it's just, the problem with this is they stuff way too many villains in here. They have Electro, which if they would have just had him as the main villain, then that would have worked. Then you also got Harry Osborn turning into Green Goblin later in the movie for the final act, and then you also have Rhino in here. That's just, yeah. So as for flaws, it's too jumbled, and also the ending I think is terrible. How it just leaves off, and you don't know what. We never got to see a continuation. We never got to see what happened, even though I'm 100% sure Spider-Man won, but we never got to see a continuation. But also, I forgot to mention this with the first Amazing Spider-Man. The chemistry by Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield in both of these movies are off the charts. Even better in the second one, in my opinion. Both of their chemistry is really, really good. Alright, next up. We have Ant-Man, and Ant-Man was a huge surprise. All of us were expecting this to be bad, and it was actually a fun MCU movie. It was a fun little heist movie. Paul Rudd is great as Ant-Man. Michael Douglas is also really great as, Hank Pym in here. I thought the gags were quite funny throughout this movie. The battle with Yellow Jacket in the kind of Toyland was really fun. Seeing that on screen, that was pretty funny. Also, this leads into Civil War and Captain. Wait, did Avengers: Age of Ultron come out before this or after this? I think it came out before this. Yeah, it did, because Falcon and Ant-Man fight on Avengers Campus. But anyways, this leads really well into, Captain America Civil War. If I had any flaws, maybe maybe Yellow Jacket isn't the most compelling villain in the world. He kind of has the same arc Electro has, but not really any better, and... Also, this is just one I've rewatched a while. I'm gonna be saying I've burnt out. Been burnt out on most of these movies. Ant-Man the Wasp, probably a step down from Ant-Man 1, but it's still decent. There's still... because the first Ant-Man's more small scale, this one continues to keep that small scale going, and basically does the same exact thing the first one does. But it has the weaker villains, I think. Yellow Jacket is a little bit... No, would I say that? I don't know. The villains in here weren't that great. Ghost maybe was decent, but that's pretty much all I can say about it, really. Also, I feel the first one balanced the serious tone and the comedy tone equally, but this one, I feel, gets a little bit too goofy sometimes. So, and also, it is a little bit odd to have this right before Infinity... Well, actually, I don't know where to watch this. Do I watch it before Infinity War or after Infinity War? I don't know, but it's odd how it fits in there because it leads into Endgame. So, but it is decent. I will admit, it is decent. Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. Most people did not like this. I actually did. I thought it was fine. Do I put it decent or okay? Do I like it? I'll actually put it decent. Yes, I know it's a hot take, but I enjoyed this movie. I never got to understand the hate for it. I had a lot of fun with following the Quantum Mania verse even further down. I thought that was pretty fun. Even though we're never going to see him as Kang the Conqueror again, Jonathan Majors was great as Kang in here for the times we got him on screen. The CGI is hit or miss. There's some points where it's really, really good, and then there's some points that it's oof. Also, as for flaws, I think it should have had bigger stakes going into it because Kang is such a big villain. If they would have... This is a theory that came out before it came out, that people were saying maybe Kang kills Ant-Man in this, and maybe eventually leads into Kang Dynasty, and that could have been very impactful, but they didn't do that. So, but it is overall watchable. Actually, now that I think about it, I'll put it back. I'll put it at the back of decent right now. All right, next up we got I can't tell which one's which. Is this Aquaman and the Lost... Yeah, that's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Let's talk about the first Aquaman first. I couldn't tell which one's which. But first Aquaman goes into... I'm going to put it decent. I can't put it in toxic goodness because I like the movies above it a little bit more. But it's a fun time. If you turn off your brain, you can have a fun time with it. Jason Momoa is a lot of fun as Aquaman in here as well. The CGI is pretty good before the CGI in the DCU got kind of trash. But the CGI was pretty good well, actually, I take that back. There's some scenes in here that the CGI isn't good. Patrick Wilson, I'm pretty sure that's what the actor's name is. The guy that plays Ocean Master in here does great as well. He's a lot of fun in here too. Trying to think. The Triton battling sequences are really good. James Wan directs it really good, and that's pretty much all I can say for Aquaman. It's a forgettable superhero movie, but it's watchable. I must admit. And next up, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And out of the movies on this list, this is the most recent that came out. And yes, Deadpool Wolverine hasn't came out yet by the time we're recording this. But I don't know. I'm going to do an individual review for that. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Okay. It was okay. There was a lot of fun Easter eggs for the Aquaman fans, I think. Black Manta was a good villain until a little bit later on where it's revealed he's kind of a puppet. But he was great until that point. A little too goofy. I thought it was way too goofy. That's one of my negatives. The relationship between Orm and Aquaman in here I thought was really good. In here. Following that half-brother relationship. CGI in here was way worse than the first Aquaman, way worse. Had some fun action sequences, but overall it's a mixed bag. It was okay. It's watchable, but there's still some flaws here and there with it, so, yeah, it goes there. Next up, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Avengers Age of Ultron, ooh. I'm gonna put it toxic goodness as well, because I think it has the same problems Amazing Spider-Man 2 does, where it is a jumbled mess because they add way too many characters in here. You got Ultron, you got Quicksilver, you got Scarlet Witch, and then you got Vision. You got all four of them in the same exact movie. So it adds way too many characters in here. But I think Ultron, even though he's a little bit goofy a little bit later on, I think James Spader still does a great job playing him, and he's menacing. Excuse me, I just broke. Do I have to think of anything else, really? I have to think, can I think of anything else? Also, that one sequence near the end, it's beautifully shot, where the Avengers are facing all the Ultrons, I should say, are really great in here as well. And also another negative, I don't understand why you bring Quicksilver in here and then you immediately kill him off, but okay. But there's that, and you know what sucks about that whole entire situation? I think Aaron Taylor Johnson signed a 5-year deal and they just kill him off. That's pretty sad. I feel bad for Aaron Taylor Johnson that one, but it's good. It's good. Next up, we have Avengers Endgame. I mean, come on, we know where that... You know I'm not putting it Toxic Trash. We know where Avengers Endgame's going. Best of the best. This is among... soon I will be coming out with a short, I don't know when, but I will be talking about the best endings to a video game, a series, a movie series, or a TV series, and this is definitely up there. Yes, it's not the ending of the MCU, but it's the ending of the Tony Stark saga, and it wraps things up beautifully, and if it would have ended here, it wouldn't have had, it wouldn't have been, if it would have, okay, I cannot speak. If it would have ended here, I wouldn't have been mad. Everything in this movie was perfect. The final battle sequence was amazing. Even though it's 3 hours and something long. I forgot how long it was. The runtime flies by because you're invested the whole entire time. Rocket Raccoon gets a lot of character development in here. Not as much as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but he gets decent character development in here, where he was kind of sidelined the first two Guardians movies. Not sidelined, but he didn't get as much character development as Star-Lord, I would say. And also, the ending sequence with Captain America was perfect as well. It just ended off the of MCU perfectly. Not the first half of the MCU, I should say. Next up, we got Avengers Infinity War. In Avengers Infinity War, we know where that's all going to. Best of the best. One of the most shocking movie endings of all time for me, personally, because, well, when I say shocking, past Lucas, yes. Now Lucas, I wouldn't say, if I watched it for the first time, I wouldn't say it's shocking or not, I don't know. But one of the most saddest endings to a movie of all time, because I remember when me and my family got out of that theater after we saw Infinity War, we were just dead silent on the way back home the whole entire time. I think this one is below Avengers Endgame because there's some parts I think you follow too many sides of the coin here in the movie, where Endgame kind of had one full side of everything, but this one you follow way too many different stories. But it's still best of the best because all of them are quite entertaining in their own way. Yeah, best of the best. Avengers Infinity War goes there too. And then the first Avengers. This was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, and this goes in best of the best. I love this one too, and there's no much more I have to say really. And I watched this twice in theaters, because it was a lot of fun, and just everything in here was a good way to introduce the Avengers into the MCU fully together. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, best of the best for that one as well. Batman 1966. I grew up with this one, so I have a hot spot for it. A soft spot for it, I should say. And it's decent. It's decent. If you want to turn your brain off and ignore the bath, pows, and all the other hits, it's a fun time. It's a decent TV movie. Batman and Robin, we all know where that's going. Toxic trash. I mean, I will give it some credit now. I think it is watchable compared to other superhero movies that have came out over the last few years, how trash they are. Wait, actually, I forgot Madam Web is Madam Web on here? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, anyways. But I feel out of all the Toxic Trash movies on here, this is the one most rewatchable because it's so funny. You want to look back at how bad this was with all the stupid stuff done in here to basically sell toys, because the director outright said it was for to sell toys. So, George Clooney, even though George Clooney is a great actor, he is not a good Batman in here. Even though I actually think he's pretty decent Bruce Wayne, he's not a good Batman in here whatsoever. Robin in here, I don't know what they did to him. They made him like a whiny character in this. Alicia Silverstone, the only good movie I've seen with her in it. She's a decent actress, but this one, she did not do good as Batgirl. Arnold Schwarzenegger, even though I bet he could pull off a Mr. Freeze if he acted seriously, this was not it for him. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, pretty decent, but Bane, what they did to Bane, oof. And also, this is a little bit too long. This movie is garbage, but it might be watchably garbage. So, yeah. Next up, we got Batman Begins, 2005. I grew up with this one, and this one is, great. I will put it to great. It's not best of the best for me right now, because I think the reveal of who Ra's al Ghul is a little bit predictable now looking back at it, if I watched it now with a modern pair of eyes. So, But fight scenes are really good in here. This is kind of a I would say it's kind of like a ninja movie, if that makes sense. How it builds up to Bruce Wayne as Batman. So in Scarecrow, I feel he should have been the main villain because Cillian Murphy did really good as him, but they keep him as a side villain, so it is what it is. And also that some of the CGIs, particularly with the scene with Batman where he sprays Scarecrow with his own fear gas and his like face is melting, I feel that the CGI and that doesn't really hold up, but it is a great superhero movie and a great start to a trilogy. Batman Forever, yes, I know this has its haters, but I actually have a fun time with it. It's decent. Well, and to be honest, when I was younger, this used to be my favorite Batman movie, so. But Jim Carrey as the Riddler, even though, yes, he's basically playing a Riddler version of himself, it's still a lot of fun there. Tommy Lee Jones, even though he's a great actor, they had told him to basically crank the Joker performance from Jack Nicholson in the first Batman from 1989 up to 11 in here and pretend to do that with Two-Face, and that didn't really work out. The Robin stuff I actually really enjoyed. The first thing with his family where they end up falling to their deaths, I think that's very impactful in the movie. However, when they follow it up with, they haven't, because Robin is supposed to be, I don't know how old in this, maybe like 19, 20, something like that. When he's adopted by Bruce Wayne, it's kind of logic issues. I don't think he can adopt him legally, but okay. Also, Val Kilmer's a pretty good Bruce Wayne. As Batman, he's... And also this one, they started to turn up the camp compared to the last two movies where they were kind of... Not the first one, but Batman Returns, how they kind of criticized it because it was too dark. This one, they cranked the goofiness up a little bit. But I would say it's still decent. I think it's very watchable. Very watchable. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I'm about to shock some people, but I have not seen Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I know I've made some people angry. I don't even have that in my collection, but I hear such great things. So maybe I'll eventually watch it. Why are they in the wrong order? I do not know. We have Batman Returns. In Batman Returns, this is the movie I was talking about where it went too dark. But I actually appreciated how dark it went. Great. I grew up with most of the Batman movies, with the two Schumacher movies and the two Burton movies, and this one I love. It still has some issues with it. Because Penguin, I think, becomes sort of a puppet in this movie for Max Shreck, where Max Shreck kind of becomes the main villain. It kind of feels like that to me personally. But still a lot of great performances in here. Danny DeVito does really great as Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer does phenomenal as Catwoman, up there for the best Catwoman portrayal. Michael Keaton, while this still not... Also, a problem with the Tim Burton movies is, we'll talk... Why not just bring it up right now? The problem with Batman 89 and Batman Returns is... They're not really Batman movies, if you think about it. Because this right here is more of a Joker movie, and then this right here is more of a Penguin movie. But I actually do kind of appreciate that, though, but it's supposed to be a Batman movie, and they're not really the main focus of the movie, you know? But I enjoyed the dark aspects of each of the movies, and also Penguin's backstory, man, in Batman Returns, yeah. No wonder why he turned evil. You feel real bad for him. Yeah, both of them go into great, even though they have that flaw of theirs where they are not Batman movies, in my opinion. Then we have dung, 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 The Batman. And this might be my favorite comic book movie of all time. There's another one which we'll eventually talk about, but I think it's probably my second favorite, but this is my favorite comic book movie of all time. I thought it was perfect. It was my favorite movie of 2022, the year it came out. I thought everything was perfect. The runtime flew by for me. Robert Pattinson as Batman was awesome. Hopefully we get to see some more of him as Bruce Wayne in the next few movies, because the little parts and pieces of him as Bruce Wayne I enjoyed. But him as Robert Pattinson, him as Batman was awesome, and he's my personal favorite Batman. Also, the Paul Dano as the Riddler. Even though I kind of wish we got more of him, he was still a phenomenal villain, and they made him a really dark version of the comics where he's kind of similar to Jigsaw from Saw. He's really terrifying in here with the traps he puts people through. It's so grim and disturbing. And also Colin Farrell as the Penguin, which I'm not really the biggest Penguin fan. After this, I actually like the character of Penguin, because Colin Farrell was hilarious as Penguin in here, even though he's a side villain. But he was a standout in there too, and the makeup they did for him, man, you can barely tell it's Colin Farrell. And also Zoe Kravitz does a phenomenal job as Catwoman too, and Andy Serkis does good as Alfred too. The little bits and pieces we got of him too. But I really, the detective side of things in here as well is phenomenal as well. But yeah, the Batman, love that movie. Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. Okay. I think I'll like Lost Kingdom a little bit more than it, but my goodness, yet another jumbled mess. Well, like, what were you doing? This was supposed to be Batman versus Superman, and it is not that. It is, there's little bits and there's little fights, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, but this is a Justice League setup movie. It is not a Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice movie, in my opinion. They introduced Doomsday way too early, and they killed off Superman way too early, and we all knew he was going to get brought back for the eventual Justice League movie, but it's just, why would you do this so early? You could have just done Batman versus Superman, and that's it. And then Jesse Eisenberg, even though I don't hate him as much people as Lex Luthor, I still think he was horribly miscast in here as a young Lex Luthor. And I think he's a really good actor too. And yeah, it's a mixed bag. Next up, we got Big Hero 6. I have very fond memories of seeing this with my dad in the year it came out, and it's good. It's a good animated movie. It's really cute. The relationship between Baymax and Hero is really nice in here. There's a bunch of creepy moments throughout the movie too with the villain in here. I thought he was really terrifying. The reveal of who the villain was is just kind of, I thought that was obvious. I didn't, and I also didn't, I didn't care for the reveal, to be honest. All the other side characters are really good in here. Wasabi, being a standout. I thought he was really funny in here. And yeah, and also Fred too. Fred is awesome in here too. And this is also kind of a Marvel movie, so it's a lot of fun. I like Big Hero 6. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I'm pretty sure what that's the title is. Haven't seen it. Black Adam is decent. This is actually my friend Ace's favorite DC movie of all time, I'm pretty sure. And it's fun, but it's not, I think the villain in here is pretty generic. I originally thought it was going to be Trigon, and it's this different other person. I don't even remember what the villain's name was, but he wasn't memorable whatsoever. The Justice Society of America stuff they had in here I thought was fun to follow. You have Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, which he was great in there. Hawkman was really great as well. And also, Cyclone doesn't really get shown much, but Atom Smasher is the kind of the comedic relief in here, and he's fun too. But this, why it doesn't go higher is because this kind of ended the DCEU, so it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So, because even though I love The Rock, don't get me wrong, in wrestling, but in movies and stuff, he kind of has a big ego, and this is one of the problems here. But I still am a big fan of his in wrestling. But movie wise, yeah, you could tell he had a big ego in this movie. I'll put it above Quantumania. There you go. Next up, we have Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. And Black Panther, this is the highest rated MCU movie on Rotten Tomatoes. And it's good. I would say it's good. If you take away all the... Okay, let's just get the flaws out of the way. I think it is still a bit generic, and also... Some of the fight scenes, particularly later on in the movie with that train fight sequence between Killmonger and Black Panther, CGI did not look good. However, Killmonger as a villain, Michael B. Jordan playing him, is his best performance, and he was awesome in that role. I'm trying to think of any other things. Chadwick Boseman, of course, is phenomenal as Black Panther 2. This is basically just the Marvel version of The Lion King, kind of, and they do a good job with it. The whole entire world building of Wakanda was awesome in here, and it kept you intrigued where they're going to go next for the next movie. Lupita Nyong'o does good as Black Panther's girlfriend. What other stuff in here? I have to think. Overall, it's a good superhero movie, even though it does have some generic moments in it. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. To be honest with you, I think this is an improvement on the first one. I think it is great. It is a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I cannot speak. I'm gunky. I don't know why. I get gunky for when I talk for a while. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, this was a great tribute to him. Shuri, the actress that played Shuri, did phenomenal in here. You could definitely feel the presence of Chadwick Boseman in this movie, where you feel the loss and everything, and it's really sad. Namor in here is a really great villain, and quite underrated. I thought he was really good in here. Ironheart, even though I'm not too familiar with her character, she was fun in here too. Yeah, it was a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman, a great movie. And also, it's a little bit long, so that's why I didn't put it in best of the best. But it's a little bit long. But anyways, next up we got Black Widow. Okay, I'll put it in okay, because I was thinking about meh, but the parts in here that carry this movie is David Harbour as Red Guardian and Florence Pugh as, why did I forget her name? Yelena Belova. Those are the only two reasons why I didn't put it in meh. Everything else in this, the green screen in some certain sequences, woof. And also even though Taskmaster had potential, the reveal of who Taskmaster is just like, huh? What? That's such a stupid reveal. It's overall a mixed bag. It's watchable, but I didn't like the Taskmaster reveal. Next up we got Blade. Okay, the only Blade movie I've seen, which I know this is probably gonna make people mad, is Blade Trinity. And Blade Trinity, meh. There's been worse comic book movies. There's some good stuff in here. You got Ryan Reynolds doing a prototype Deadpool before Deadpool was a thing. For wrestling fans, Triple H is in here where he's a vampire, so that's pretty funny that he's in here. You can definitely tell for most of the action sequences when Blade is doing stuff, you can definitely tell it's not Wesley Snipes, because Wesley Snipes notably was kind of a jerk on this movie, supposedly. Jessica Biel does good in here as well. Dracula is a good is a good final villain for a third movie in a trilogy. However, how they execute him isn't that great. And yeah, it's overall meh. It's overall meh. Next up, we got Blue Beetle, and this was a pleasant surprise. I remember being kind of skeptical going into this one, and this was actually a lot of fun. Zola Marhuena was phenomenal in this and did a great job as Blue Beetle. Can't wait to see him again in the DCU. Supposedly, they're having a Blue Beetle animated show on Max that connects to the DCU, and I'm down for that. Also, the family dynamic in here was surprising as well. I was not expecting such a great family dynamic because it gets you kind of emotional a little bit later on in the movie. There's a lot in humor in here that lands, particularly from George Lopez. He's absolutely hilarious in here. As for negatives, I wish they could have explored the relationship between him and the suit more, and also the villains in here I thought were pretty mediocre. And also a mixed aspect is it feels generic, but I think it works in its favor. So, but Blue Beetle was a pleasant surprise. I think it is a toxic goodness movie. Next up, we have Captain America from 1990, I believe. Is this the 1990 one? I can't tell. But I only watched this once on TV, and it was okay. It has a certain cheese to it that's kind of charming, I guess, but it's not a great movie or a good comic book movie. But there's a slight 90s cheat. Well, when did this come out? 80s, 90s? I forgot when. But whatever era it came out has slight cheese to that. So, yeah. Speaking of Captain America, we also got some more ones, which I don't know why Civil War isn't with this one. But Captain America First Avenger, we know where that's going to. It goes into the good tier. A good origin story movie for Captain America. Hugo Weaving does a great job as Red Skull in here. This is probably one of the MCU movies on here that got rewatched the most that got rewatched the most out of all of them on here, just because what my negatives is, I kind of got burnt out on it a lot, so I don't really care to rewatch this one this much. But it's still a good superhero movie. Chris Evans is phenomenal as Captain America. And the stuff with him and Peggy's pretty sad too. So I'll put it in the toxic goodness tier. Next up, what did you do? What did you do? Next up we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And Captain America, the Winter Soldier, for me, is also amongst my top favorite comic book movies of all time. I love Captain America, the Winter Soldier. It's, I think, third favorite comic book movie of all time. This is probably the darkest MCU movie. The stuff with Bucky's really tragic in here. I love the storyline where Hydra's infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. I really love that stuff. Scarlett Johansson does really good as Black Widow again in here. Chris Evans does even better job as Captain America in here, in my personal opinion. Samuel L. Jackson, great as Nick Fury. Anthony Mackie, another great addition to the MCU as Falcon. He was really good in here. That final fight between Captain America and Winter Soldier is really gripping you into the movie. And Alexander Skarsgård, man, is a really underrated villain as Bolivar. No, not Bolivar Trask. Bolivar Trask is in the X-Men. I forgot what his name was, but Alexander Skarsgård. No, wait, what? Not Alexander Skarsgård. What's his name again? Okay, I forgot what his name was. But the main Hydra head, whatever his name is, he's really good. He's best of best for me. So, yeah. Next up, we have Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, meh. I think it's a very meh superhero movie. The young the young Nick Fury stuff, I think is the best part of this movie. Otherwise, pretty generic superhero movie. Even though Brie Larson's a great actress, she does not, I don't think she's good as Captain Marvel in here. As for other negatives, also it's just very generic superhero movie. And the Skrull stuff, I feel they could have done a little bit better. So it goes in meh. Next up, we got Catwoman. Toxic trash. I mean, what are you doing here? You have an evil makeup evil makeup woman as the villain here. And, she uses makeup to get superpowers. And Halle Berry, I think she got the Razzie Award this year, didn't she, for this movie? I'm pretty sure, but she is not good as Catwoman. And this doesn't even have Selena Kyle as Catwoman. It's another person, whatever her name is. I don't know what her name is. But, yeah, this is a woof, bro. This is a woof movie. Alrighty then. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what just happened? We are continuing our tier list. Okay. So next up we have Constantine. I never saw Constantine, so I'm going to put it I haven't seen. Same with Cowboys vs. Aliens. I have it, but I haven't seen it. The Crow, haven't seen it either. Next up we got Daredevil from 2003 with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner. And this, I think, gets way too much hate, especially since we had way worse comic book movies coming out the last few times. And do I put this decent or toxic goodness? Do I like it on the same level as the movies in toxic goodness? Okay, I'm going to put it at the top of decent for now. I'm not going to put it in toxic goodness because you still have Bullseye having a bullseye on his forehead. You still have Colin Farrell's kind of over-the-top performance as Bullseye. Ben Affleck isn't the greatest Daredevil in the world. Jennifer Gardner was not good as Elektra, even though she's a good actress. She was not good as Elektra. The backstory sort of things, I actually really liked at the beginning of the movie when it's going through Daredevil's backstory. I thought that was really good. The CGI, not so good. Michael Clark Duncan is great as Kingpin. Some of the fight scenes are really good. And I overall think it's way too much hated. I think it's actually pretty decent compared to other comic book movies we've seen. The Dark Knight Rises. And The Dark Knight Rises goes into keep on going. It goes into the great tier. I like it more than Batman Begins. The only flaw holding it back from going into best of the best is how it wraps things up. I wasn't a big fan of that. And also, well, actually, that's more of a mixed aspect. And then the biggest negative I have is them making Bane kind of a puppet as well for a villain, where he's kind of a side villain and Talia al Ghul was the main villain. It was just like, what? Come on. And Talia al Ghul has one of the most dramatic death sequences ever. Like, one of the most horribly acted death scenes ever. But overall, it's great, though. Tom Hardy as Bane is phenomenal. Christian Bale does great as Batman again. Anne Hathaway does a phenomenal job as Catwoman as well. The fight sequences, of course, are amazing, particularly the last fight when the two sides are fighting each other. Those are great scenes. When it ends things with Joseph Gordon-Levitt maybe becoming Robin, I actually liked that ending. But before that, not so much. And also, of course, Gary Oldman does phenomenal as Jim Gordon as well. So it goes in the great tier. Next up, we got The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. And you cannot deny, The Dark Knight is a best of the best movie. If I would have put it any lower, I would have got backlash. But all I'm saying is this is like a minorest of minorest flaws. I think maybe this feels... no, it is more Batman-centric compared to these two. I was going to say Joker is this kind of more of Joker's movie, but it is still a Batman movie. You got, I mean, do I really need to say anything? Heath Ledger as the Joker, one of the best performances in movie history. Absolutely amazing. Aaron Eckhart gets really slept on as Two-Face because I think he does really great too. Christian Bale does great as Batman as well. The scenes as well are really well shot by Christopher Nolan, and it is well deserved to be one of the best comic book movies of all time. No denying that. Next up, we got X-Men Dark Phoenix. This is among not just one of the worst comic book movies ever. This is among my least favorite movies of all time. I hate X-Men Dark Phoenix. And even when I saw it in the theaters, I was going, that wasn't good. This movie, I think, stinks. Everything about it is bad. The acting, well, I'll give it its credit. The acting is somewhat decent, but still not good. The story direction they took with the Phoenix storyline was a good idea, but the way they execute it is not good at all. X-Men The Last Stand executed it way more better than this did. What other stuff happened in this? Mystique, how they killed off her character, it's just, why? Why kill her off like that? I know you're trying to show Jean Grey as an unstoppable force, but come on, really? Then also Beast, what they do with his character where he wants revenge and tries to kill Jean and then gets the help of Magneto where he's on the bad side. It's just, huh? And then Charles Xavier, bro. They had aliens in this. They had aliens. And Jessica Chastain's a great actress, but oh my goodness, what did they do with those aliens? I hate this movie. Anyways, but it's garbage. Deadpool 2 and Deadpool 1, haven't seen them. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And for being the Multiverse of Madness, there's not really much madness that I was expecting, but I think it's still good. Why I put it a little bit higher is because it has a horror aesthetic to it with Scarlet Witch chasing Doctor Strange and America Chavez. I'm pretty sure that's what the character's name is. And I like all the horror aspects because you can tell it's definitely from Sam Raimi having some Evil Dead inspired stuff in there. You got a bunch of brutal kills in here too with all of the Illuminati dying by Scarlet Witch. All their deaths are pretty brutal. Particularly Black Bolt and Professor X, man, they were brutal. And also Mr. Fantastic too. He has pretty brutal death as well. I also and thought the CGI was pretty good in here too. As for flaws, the only thing I said really is for Multiverse of Madness, I was really expecting a lot more, and we didn't get that. But it's still fun. I like Multiverse of Madness. Alright, next up we have the first Doctor Strange. And the first Doctor Strange, I will put in the decent category. I like Multiverse Madness a little bit more than it, but this one has stunning visuals. Benedict Cumberbatch is phenomenal as Doctor Strange. Also, Chitwell Ejiofor, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name, is great as Mordo as well. And Tilda Swinton, I'm pretty sure. Wait, what's her name again? I forgot what her name was, but the person that plays the White Witch from the Narnia movies, she does great as the Ancient One as well. As for negatives, has pretty forgettable villain, even though I love Maz Mikkelsen as an actor. Him as Caecilius wasn't remarkably memorable. And also, it is kind of generic with some of the stuff it pulls, but it's still good. It's still decent, so it goes in the decent category. I would put it at the top of decent for right now. Alright, next up we have Dredd, and I haven't seen Dredd either, sorry. Whoops. Elektra. Toxic Crash. I mean, didn't they get the memo from the first Daredevil movie, even though there's been worse comic book movies ever since that, but a whole lot of people did not like the Daredevil movie when it came out. And they said, you know what? Why not let's do an Elektra solo movie afterwards, following Elektra's storyline, even though they didn't hear the backlash of Jennifer Garner's performance as Elektra. And this movie, the last fight scene with all the sheets going past, and basically they're fighting, and the bad guy just pops out of sheets and stuff, and the CGI in here, woof. I mean, everything's bad about this movie, yeah. Ooh. Next up, we have The Eternals. And Eternals, I used to not like. a whole lot. But now, since other movies came out, I actually think it's okay. It should. I feel as if it should have been a TV series instead of an actual movie because it is a little bit long, and I think there's more stories you could follow in a TV series where you have one dedicated episode to each of the Eternals, and then the final episode they all team up together to take down Icarus, and also the guy that plays Icarus does pretty good too. CGI is pretty decent. I think there's a few standout Eternals, particularly the Speed Girl. I forgot what her name was, but she's pretty memorable out of them. The character is Sprite, I didn't like very much. I think that's what her character's name is. And everything else, yeah, it's a little bit of a jumbled mess, but I still think we've had way worse MCU movies, so it goes okay. Next up, we got Fantastic Four. You know what? Let's organize all these together. Oh, Flash Gordon's a comic book movie? Really? Okay, anyways. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Okay. I think it's still watchable, but it's still, again, another jumbled mess in the comic book genre. You have Galactus in here, but he's a cloud. He's an evil cloud. He's not an actual, like, CGI entity, which they're going to do in the new Fantastic Four movies, but he's a cloud, which that was, the Silver Surfer plotline, Lawrence Fishburne does decent voicing him, but however, the plotline they have for all of the Fantastic Four, where basically Reed Richards and Jessica and Invisible Woman are trying to get married, and it keeps on getting delayed. I was never a fan of that storyline. But yeah, it's okay. I do somewhat enjoy the storyline of them switching powers. I think it's somewhat funny. So, yeah. Alright, next up we got Fantastic Four, and the first one. And this one, I've always had a soft spot when I was younger because I grew up on the first two Fantastic Four movies, Iron Man and Incredible Hulk. I grew up on all those. And Fantastic Four, I think, is toxic goodness. It's the definition. It's cheesy, but it's a lot of fun. Chris Evans does great as Human Torch. The CGI doesn't really hold up, but there's a couple scenes where you can accept for what it is. Doctor Doom, I think the guy that plays Doctor Doom is actually pretty decent, especially compared to another movie we're about to talk about. And yeah, I think it's highly slept on. I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie we've gotten. So, yeah, and hopefully, the new Fantastic Four movie surpasses this, which I have every confidence it would. Then we got Fan-4-Stick. Right there. Yeah, this movie's trash. Originally, and by the way, this was young me, when I was probably about, how old was I? I have to estimate. Maybe like 5, 6. I was probably 8 or 9 when I saw this in theaters, and I loved it then. But over time, I go, "Wow, really? I liked that movie. This movie is crap." Miles Teller, I love him as an actor, man, but he's not good as Mr. Fantastic. Kate Mara doesn't do good as Invisible Woman. Michael B. Jordan, there's some moments that he does decent as Human Torch, but overall, he's not amazing either. The stuff they do with The Thing, oof. Also, Doctor Doom, oh my gosh. Toby Kebbell, man, they going from Koba to this, oof. It's just Fan-4-Stick. Do I need to say anything else? It's crap. It's simple as that. Alright, next up we have Flash Gordon. And Flash Gordon's another cheese fest, but it's fun. I like it a whole lot. Watched this for the first time last year, and yeah, it's fun. Flash Gordon goes into toxic goodness. Basically, I don't know how to explain it. Just watch it. I recommend it. It's fun. It's fun. Next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. In Guardians of the Galaxy, what did I just do? A whole bunch of us were... Why do I keep on doing that? We're expecting this to be bottom tier MCU, and for me, And we were all pleasantly surprised, and Guardians of the Galaxy goes into best of the best. I love this movie. I always rewatched it a lot when we got it on Blu-ray. Chris Pratt, phenomenal as Star-Lord. All the performances are good. I used to rewatch this on loop when I was younger. The soundtrack's amazing. The visuals are amazing. I thought that the group dynamic between them all was pretty solid. And while Ronan the Accuser is kind of a villain, he's still a good first villain for the Guardians of the Galaxy compared to others. So, yeah, best of the best. I love this one, so, yeah. Alright, next up we have The Flash. This one's gonna be... this is gonna be controversial. The Flash, I think, is actually good. Two things holding it back from going any higher. CGI, absolutely dog crap. And also, the final act is very weird and mixed up. However, I still like this movie a whole lot. I need to rewatch it again because I've been meaning to. But Ezra Miller, well, and also I don't like the decision they have with Ezra Miller with Barry Allen, where basically he has to learn to let go, but then he didn't learn his lesson, and he basically changes it still. And also, I forgot to mention too, where the movie ends off. It's just, why? What's that supposed to mean? We know the universe is dying, but why is it that there? Anyways, but The Flash, there was a whole lot of people that, like, said it was bad and you haven't seen it yet, I still recommend it. It's pretty decent. The whole entire Flashpoint storyline, how they incorporated that into the movie, I thought was pretty good. Michael Keaton, glad to see him back as Batman in here, and he's really great as well for the time we get with him on screen. Sasha Calle, I'm pretty sure that's what her name is, that plays Supergirl. She does great too. The villain also I didn't like. I didn't mean to, I meant to say that too. And I just love, I'm a sucker for time travel stories, so it's good. I think it's good. Next up we have Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. I've only ever watched this once, and I don't have any reason to go back to it, so I'm gonna put it toxic trash. The only thing I remember good about it is the CGI is way better in this one compared to the first Ghost Rider. That's pretty much all I have to say, really. Everything else, I don't know what they were doing. You have Ghost Rider in here, peeing fire. You have him peeing fire. So there's that. If you're into that, go ahead, check it out and see what you think about it. But yeah. Then the first Ghost Rider. Okay. It's okay. It's another cheesy B movie, or more likely C movie, but it's more cheesy, and Nick Cage is fun as Ghost Rider, even though his performance is over the top, and basically just Nick Cage turned up to 11, so... Green Hornet, never saw it or the TV show. I know, I just shocked some people. Green Lantern, kind of same thing with Daredevil. I think it gets way too much hate on nowadays. I think it's actually decent, because we've had way worse comic book movies, I should say. This has a pretty bad comic book villain, I must admit, with Parallax, how it's where he fights a cloud later on in the movie, kind of like Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. But I think there's still a lot of stuff to love here. I think that the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively before they got together is really cute in here. A whole lot of people like to dog on the CGI, and the CGI, while not being the best, we've certainly had worse CGI. I mean, The Flash's CGI is way worse than this. And also that main score that was made for the movie, like the dung, 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 and then the flying theme song as well. I love both of those theme songs. I think they did a great job of composing the movie. And Ryan Reynolds, I think, does pretty decent as Green Lantern. He doesn't do terrible, so I think a whole lot of people hate on it a little bit too much nowadays because we've certainly had worser. Yeah, well, worse. Sorry, I know someone's correcting me. Oh, it's worse, not worse, sir. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. This was actually pretty decent. It was a pretty cute holiday special. I'll put it into the. Ooh, do I put it? Great tier. It's a great holiday special. And it's pretty short, too. And Kevin Bacon's fun in it as well. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh, man. Oh, man. I love this so much. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I still love it. I am putting it at the top of best of the best. I thought it was the best out of the Guardians trilogy. It wrapped things up beautifully. Rocket Raccoon's story arc is so sad, but you get that payoff with him becoming the eventual leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of the movie, and it was a perfect ending for him. Well, it closed. To be fair, it closed out all the Guardians of the Galaxy's character arcs very well. It closed out Star-Lord's character arc really well, where he went back to excuse me, phone, I was speaking, where he goes back to his grandpa on Earth. You also have Gamora too, which her story ends pretty well. Nebula as well. Drax and Mantis, how they both have to basically let go. It's just an amazing movie. I'm glad it ended the way it did. It was perfect. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2... Keep on scrolling up. I'll put it... It's one of these three. Where do I put it? Do I put it best of the best, great, or toxic goodness? I'm going to put it great. I'll put it at the top of great. Why it doesn't go best of the best is because while Kurt Russell as Ego is a good villain, it's just overall, I don't know if I like the character. I don't know. And also, a little bit. It might be a little bit too goofy, but it still has a whole lot of funny moments throughout it. So it goes in great. Next up, we have the Hellboy movies. Haven't seen a single Hellboy movie, so can you fix yourself? I did see the trailer for that, low budget Hellboy movie, but yeah, there's that. A History of Violence. A History of Violence, I haven't seen either. Howard the Duck. Do I put it toxic? I don't know. I'll put it meh. I haven't seen it in a while. The last time I saw it was when I was a kid, which, yeah, I watched it when I was a kid. Meh. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember it being meh. And a little bit too long. And the villain's weird. What they did with the villain. Hulk, from 2003 with Eric Bana. It's okay. I think I like the storyline with the dynamic that they have with Bruce and his dad. I enjoyed that part of it. CGI, hit or miss. Maybe it's like right in the middle. I've seen worse, but it's still not good CGI. I think all the performances in here are pretty decent. What other things can I think about it? That's and it also has a weird comic book style in the movie, and it does not work, I don't think. But it's okay. It's watchable. The Incredible Hulk from 2004. I'm a sucker for this movie because I grew up with it and I still love it. And it, for me, I know it goes into great tier. Sorry. I love it. The only problem I have with it is the Betty Ross and Bruce Banner relationship is really odd. It's a little bit cringeworthy with the dialogue that they say. But otherwise, everything else I love in here. I love the fight sequences. I love that opening sequence where you get introduced to the Hulk. And basically, it's kind of similar to a horror movie sequence where Hulk is basically taking one guy out each by one, and I love that sequence. You also have the sequence on the college campus, I'm pretty sure, where he faces the whole entire army, and then also the final fight too, where him and Abomination face each other. It's great too. So yeah, it goes in the great tier. It's not best of the best, but it's great for me. Iron Man 3. While doing the same plot line as other superhero movies with the villain, I still think it's great too. I really like Iron Man 3. I'm going to go rush by but these last few. Iron Man 2, okay. It's watchable, but it is a jumbled mess as well. It has a whole lot of different storylines going on at the same time. Iron Man 1 goes right into... Ooh, keep on going. It's the bottom rung, but it's going best of the best. Iron Man kicks off the MCU, and it's made a C-list hero into like an A-list hero from the movie. So Iron Man goes in best of the best. Jonah Hex talks to trash, I guess. I only remember watching it once, and I didn't think much of it then. All I know is Michael Fassbender's in it here, and he has a weird performance. But Megan Fox in here, so that's positive. Judge Dredd, haven't seen the remake Judge Dredd. Oh, great! This is going third of Toxic Trash. I hate Justice League. First time I watched it, I felt it was a little bit off too when I saw it in theaters. But once the drama came out about Zack Snyder, yeah, no wonder. This goes to Toxic Trash. The Snyder Cut's way more better than the regular Justice League because they actually get Snyder back. And I will say it's good. I can't go higher than good because I do think it is a little bit too long. If it was 3 hours long, then maybe I'll put it in the great tier. But it's too long, so yeah. The Kick-Ass movies, I've not seen either of them. So Kick-Ass 2 goes there, and then Kick-Ass 1 goes there. Next up, we got Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Haven't seen Kingsman: The Golden Circle and haven't seen The Kingsman. But I have seen The Kingsman: The Secret Service. And Kingsman: The Secret... Wait, where'd it go? Kingsman: The Secret Service goes... Okay. Kingsman: The Secret Service, as I said before, goes into the great tier. It's a lot of fun. It's it's kind of James Bond with a James Bond hidden agency. And it's kind of similar to Hunger Games too, but people don't die off. You just gotta survive. Simple as that. Taron Egerton does great in here. I love this. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah. It's a B movie, but it's a lot of fun. Well, not B movie. I would say A-. It's a lot of fun. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, one that's I grew up on too. It's okay. CGI doesn't hold up, but I like how it has a random group of assorted characters where you have Dorian Gray, you have Alan Quartermain, Tom Sawyer, Invisible Man, Mr. Hyde, and Dr. Jekyll. And then a vampire too, so it's kind of interesting. Excuse me. Lego Batman movie. Lego Batman movie goes into toxic goodness. Probably the best Lego movie out there right now. And it also adds another layer to Batman that I wasn't expecting from it. So it goes in the good tier. Logan, we all know where Logan is going to. Okay. Look, we all know where Logan's going to. Logan goes right up into... Keep on scrolling. Logan goes into best of the best. You can't deny it. It was a perfect send-off for Wolverine as a character. And I'll put it right here. I think that's good. And yeah, simple as that. So, The Losers... I have it, but excuse me. Wait, where'd it go? I have it, but I haven't seen it. Madam Web, Toxic Trash. Wow. It might be watchable Toxic Trash in the future. I don't know, but it's pretty bad. Man of Steel. Remember that movie I was talking about earlier that I think that is tied with the Batman for my favorite comic book movie of all time? Man of Steel is that. Yes, I know there's some people that do not like this, but I love it. I thought it was a great new dark representation of Superman. Henry Cavill was phenomenal as Superman. I loved the ending, even though most people are kind of mixed about the ending, how Superman basically has to kill Zod so he doesn't kill these humans. But I think it was a great way to end off that movie. This has a lot of mass destruction in it, in the fighting between Superman and General Zod, and the fight scenes are really well shot. And the main score as well by Hans Zimmer. I'm pretty sure that's who composed the main score, but the main score was awesome. So I love Man of Steel, so it goes best of the best. The Marvels, an improvement on the first Captain Marvel, but that's not really saying much. So it goes okay. It goes okay. The charm of Kamala Khan adds to this movie quite a bit. The Mask. We all know where The Mask is going. The Mask, I can't put it best of the best because I've only watched it once. But I do think it is a great comic book movie. I'll put it at the top great. I love The Mask. It's the CGI is a little bit dated. That's why I didn't put it in best of the best. But, and also it really isn't the same mask from the comics, because from the comics the mask is way more like brutal and stuff. But this one, yeah, solid. I like The Mask. Now we got Men in Black movies, which I never knew I never knew they were comic book movies. But Men in Black, for those who do not know, the first Men in Black is among... Keep on going. 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 Men in Black is among my favorite movies of all time. I love Men in Black. It's in my top 15. I love it. And it's a lot of fun. So, yeah. Men in Black 3. Men in Black 3, I actually think, is the best Men in Black sequel. And it has a lot of fun moments, too. And Josh Brolin does a good job of playing a young Tommy Lee Jones. I think that pair just fits each other. Men in Black 2. Men in Black 2. It's okay. It's okay. I rewatched it recently and it's fine. Men in Black International. Oh boy. Meh. It's not a Toxic Crash, but it's meh. You should have brought back the old cast. Simple as that. If you go and do another Men in Black movie, bring back Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. Simple as that. Morbius, I know I'm going to get flack for this, but Morbius I actually think is okay. It's okay. I think it's fine. I never understood the hate for it. Is it generic? Yes, I'm fully with you there. It is generic. However, it's short, and also the CGI is pretty decent, and it probably why I'm more positive on it compared to others is it has a horror vibe to it, so that's maybe why I enjoy it. But yeah, Morbius I think is okay. It's not good, but I think it's watchable because it's short. Batman the Killing Joke, I got this recently, but I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it. Oh, wait, Elektra, no, go back down there. No, you stay down there. New Mutants, I only saw, like, the ending, but that's pretty much it, so I haven't seen it. The Old Guard, I've never even heard of this, so this goes, haven't seen. The Phantom, I don't know what to think. The Phantom, is meh. I never knew much about the Phantom character, but it's very mid superhero movie. Polar, haven't seen, even know what that is. Priest, I've seen on television a couple of times, but I haven't watched it fully. Punisher, bro. Oh, wow, we're on a streak today, aren't we? Punisher, Elektra, stay down there. Okay. Punisher Warzone, haven't seen it. Red and Red 2. Red 1 goes into... Oh my goodness, keep on going. My arm's tired. Red 1 goes into toxic goodness. If you just want to see, like, some of your favorite action stars, or some of your favorite actors have fun together on TV, on a movie, and have a heist movie, there you go. Red 1 goes there. Red 2 goes into okay. No, not meh. Okay. It goes okay. There's some moments that it basically does a repeat of the same movie from the last one, but still, dang it, we still have a lot to go. R.I.P.D. Never saw R.I.P.D. Rocketeer, I have it, but guess what? Haven't seen it. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, haven't seen it. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I will put it as well in the... Excuse me. Keep on going, Shang-Chi, please. Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, whatever term you prefer. Shang-Chi goes into the good. I wasn't expecting much from it. It was actually a big surprise when it came out. And the action sequences in that, man, awesome. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam! Fury of the Gods goes right into the meh tier. It was okay. The first Shazam, me and Jack saw this in theaters together when we were starting to know each other as friends. And Shazam goes right up into the toxic goodness category. It's good. It's solid, you know. Next up, we got the Sin City movies. I've never seen either, but I really want to see the first Sin City because I've heard great things. And I like neo-noir type movies, so... Snowpiercer, I had no clue Snowpiercer was a comic book adaptation, but there it goes. Son of the Mask, woof, goes right into toxic trash. Wow, that movie, woof. I mean, that kind of ruins the career of Randy from Scream. Spawn, I never knew Spawn had a movie, so never seen it. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse goes, keep on going. Man, we still got a lot to go. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, people. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse goes into Best of the Best. Awesome movie. Love that. A little bit too long, though, I must admit. Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home goes into... Keep on going. Into the good. It's a toxic goodness. I like it. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming goes into also the good category as well. Probably it's my least favorite Spider-Man movie, but it's still good. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, we know where that's going. That I think won Best Animated Picture of the Year when it came out. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it did or not. But we all know where it's going. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as well is awesome. So we're putting it into the best of the best. Next up, we have Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay. Keep on going, Spider-Man No Way Home. Go. Okay. Come on. Spider-Man No Way Home goes into Best of the Best as well. Awesome movie as well. Next up, we got Spider-Man 3. While having a ton of issues, it's still a lot of fun. So it goes into... I'm messing up my arm for this, by the way. Just like to point that out. Spider-Man 3 goes into the good category. It used to be my favorite when I was a kid, but now I start to see the flaws all over it. Spider-Man 2. Ooh, Spider-Man 2. Come on, Spider-Man 2. Go. My arm. My shoulder is killing me. I'm sitting up. Okay. Ow. Wow, that felt different. Okay, Spider-Man 2 goes into... Come on! Spider-Man 2 goes into great tier. No. Spider-Man 2, no! Spider-Man 2, best of best. Low best of best, though. It's not my favorite in that category. And then Spider-Man 2002, among my favorite comic book movies of all time, too, as well. So, you know where that's going. You know where this one's going to. It is going to... Oh my goodness, my arm is killing me because I've been trying to charge my phone this whole entire time. Spider-Man 1 goes third in best of best. I love... Wait, no. Ooh. I don't know. I'm not ranking things, but it's up there. It's up there. There you go. That's good. All right, next up we have The Spirit. Haven't seen it. I think Nicholas and Samuel L. Jackson's in that. The Suicide Squad. Haven't seen it. But this Suicide Squad I have, though, which that's not really good. But you know, I have some fun with it. It's okay. I think Harley Quinn and Deadshot save it. Superman 3, the only thing I really remember is the Superman versus Superman boss fight. However, everything else, okay. Superman, wait, is that Superman 2? I can't tell which one's which. I think that is Superman 2. Okay, Superman 2. Anyways, Superman 2 goes into, keep on going. We're almost there. But come on. Where'd I put it? Ooh, it's really tough. But I'm going to have to put great, because the special effects don't really age well. But I still love Superman 2. Out of the old movies, that is my favorite. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. I remember it being very, very, very meh. Superman Returns is the one that I actually grew up on. Out of all the Superman movies, this is the one I grew up on. And I think it is... It's kind of like a continuation off of the other Superman movies with Christopher Reeves, while also being its own thing. So I think it's decent. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it, I guess. The original Superman is basically the comic book movie starter, if you will. And for that reason, Superman 1 goes at... I think it by definition has to go best of best, but it's a little best of the best. But I do like Superman 2 more, so I'm putting Superman 2 best to best as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in a Half Shell, Turtle Power. Okay, come on, what, bro? I didn't realize how much comic book movies we had. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've always loved this one, and this one goes in best of best. I love TMNT, the 1981, the 1980 something one. And I think it's among my favorite comic book movies of all time, probably favorite movies of all time as well. I love that one. Excuse me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secrets of the Ooze. And Secrets of the Ooze, I will put Kingsman. Why are you moving up? I don't know. Secrets of the Ooze, I think, is a good sequel. You have that Shredder boss fight, where he's like all hulked up and stuff. That's a pretty good fight. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. And I actually saw this for my birthday, the day it came out, I think. Or the day before, I think. But this one goes right up into, keep on going. We almost there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles goes into a great. It goes into great. I can't say I love it as much as I do the 1981, but I still love it. So, I thought the animation for the human characters was a little bit weird. Wait, which one did I put? Oh, that's bad news. I put the wrong Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in the good tier. I put Three Turtles in Time in the good tier. Uh-oh. All right, so we're moving this one down, shall we? There you go. Out of the Secret of the Use goes good, and then this one goes into meh. I can't outright say it's toxic trash because it's still watchable. So, this, however, goes into toxic trash. I don't know what they were doing with this. Originally, they were supposed to say that the TM and the turtles are aliens, which I'm glad they didn't do that because that would make it go into an even lower tier below toxic trash. But I still hate this movie. I don't like it. TMNT from 2007, I believe. This is the movie where Chris Evans, ironically, voices Casey Jones. And this one goes into the decent category. That one fight with Raph and Leo is amazing, though. Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I saw this for my birthday 2018 when it came out. And I thought it was decent. It's decent. Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder. Oh wait, why am I going higher? Toxic Trash. I don't like this movie either. This movie I think is crap. The worst MCU movie as well. I'll say I like it more than TMNT 2014, Justice League, Fantastic, and Dark Phoenix, but that's the only positive thing I can really say about it. Thor Ragnarok was awesome, among the best MCU movies, and it has a lot of funny moments throughout as well. So for that reason, Thor Ragnarok goes into the best of the best here. I love Thor Ragnarok. I'm going to put it right here for now. Awesome movie. Thor the Dark World. Thor the Dark World goes into... Can you go any slower? My goodness. Thor the Dark World will go into... oh, wait, no. Okay. The kind of same thing I said with Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, how the brother dynamic carried. The brother dynamic here between Loki and Thor carried as well. And Malekith, I think the Dark Elf storyline I liked, but Malekith as a villain I didn't really like. The first Thor I actually like less compared to Thor the Dark World. I know that's a hot take, but first Thor goes into okay. 300 Rise of an Empire. I haven't seen that one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Ooze. I was skeptical. I was really skeptical because I hated that first movie. But after seeing it, when I saw it, I actually thought it was okay. It was fine. It was a little bit better than the first one. 300. I started watching it once, but I never finished it. So, Valerian. Wow. This throws me back. I remember seeing this in theaters somehow. But meh. I don't remember much from that. Venom Let There Be Carnage. This is the definition of go. Okay, not go, but we're getting there. We getting there. This is the problem with these big tier lists because, toxic goodness. It's a toxic goodness movie. I like it. V for Vendetta. I have it, but I haven't watched it yet, but soon I will. Venom. I got some Venom. What did I just put down here? Okay, thank you. Where'd Venom go? Okay, Venom's right there. Okay, Venom goes into meh. It's meh. There's some funny moments to be had, but otherwise, Wanted, haven't seen it. I've catched it on TV a couple times, but never watched it fully. Watchmen, guess what? I said, guess what? Haven't seen it. Werewolf by Night, this isn't a movie, but whatever. Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special isn't either, but this was actually good. I liked this one. This is basically... this was their Halloween special, and I thought it was pretty decent, actually. It was a throwback to old gray, black, and white movies, to The Wolfman, which, for those who do not know, The Wolfman is among my probably top 50 favorite movies of all time, so, yeah. The Wolverine. The Wolverine goes into... Oh my gosh, my arm is killing me. My arm is killing me. Scoop, come on. Okay, Wolverine now goes into the Toxic Goodness. I think it's good. The sword fighting battles are fun, and I really like that one. Wonder Woman, can you fix yourself screen, please? Wonder Woman as well goes into... I think this was the... No, actually, no, Elektra was. I was about to say, I think this was the first ever female-led superhero movie, but no, it isn't. Wonder Woman goes into the great tier, one of the best DC movies, or DCU movies, I should say. X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men Days of Future Past goes right up into... Man, we're almost done. I had to speed things up, but we're almost done. Go. Dang, this is really a workout, huh? Come on. Why are you going so slow? Okay, anyways. X-Men Days of Future Past goes into great. I love X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men. Okay. I'm not going to move these because my arm is tired right now, but I'll tell you all where they go. X-Men First Class goes best of the best. I love the X-Men First Class. This is my favorite X-Men movie. So it goes there. X-Men Origins Wolverine will go into the okay tier because it's watchable. X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men 3 The Last Stand, I should say, would go into the decent category because Kelsey Grammer's Beast carries, and also there's some stuff with the Dark Phoenix storyline that's pretty good. X2 X-Men United would go into great scenes there. The first X-Men would go into the good. Wonder Woman 1984 would go into the meh or okay. And then X-Men Apocalypse would go into the okay as well. Alright, but with that being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this toxic tier list ranking of all these superhero movies, or comic book movies, I should say. Wait, why wasn't Joker here? Well, anyways, it doesn't matter because I haven't seen Joker, but Joker would go here. But with that being said, guys, be sure to let me know your list down below, and with that being said, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.